The original Pochette Metis versus the Pochette Metis East West. Which one would you choose? Hello everyone, welcome back to another mommy review where I review all things for the love of. Today I am having a look and comparing Louis Vuitton Pochette Metis versus the Pochette Metis East West. Which one would you choose? Before I get started, if you like the content on this channel, please consider giving this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for considering, and on with the video. So the original Pochette Metis came out in 2012. It's hard to believe that it's been over 10 years now that this beloved handbag has kind of reigned into the Louis Vuitton collection. The classic Pochette Metis in monogram was like a really highly sought after handbag for a long while now. Currently on the website, you can actually attain this handbag and you can actually place it in your cart. In 2022, Louis Vuitton released the Pochette Metis in the East West version, also available to place in cart right now. So for today, I want to go over the differences, the major differences between these two bags, and hopefully help you decide if you're interested in purchasing one of these handbags, which one would be better for you. I mean, I feel like Louis Vuitton has been really reaching back in the archive and doing remakes for a lot of handbags recently. Like a lot of handbag fashion houses such as Dior or Fendi are coming out with like East-West version. I'm not surprised that Louis Vuitton came out with this East-West version for the Pochette Metis. I do know that there are a huge following for people who love the classic, but also a lot of people liking the new version as well. So are you loving this East-West trend for Louis Vuitton? I know that some people call that this kind of lacks originality, but I can see like a place in a handbag collection for something like this. But at the same time, also really torn about, is this considered too trendy? It does have a lot of similar features as the original Metis, but I think it has a totally different vibe. I still think it looks a little bit more chic, very gorgeous handbag. And I would say a little bit more feminine compared to the more masculine Pochette Metis. I mean, there's some obvious similarities between the East-West Pochette Metis versus the original, including the signature S-lock. So let's jump right into the 7 main differences that I think it's important to consider if you're debating between these two bags. Number 1 is, of course, the aesthetic. I find that the original Pochette Metis is a little bit more businessy, say a little bit more conservative, more masculine looking compared to the newer East-West version. I think the newer East-West version is a little bit more elegant, very classy, and like more feminine. So I think the general aesthetic is very different. You can see that even for the new East-West version, it comes with a chain along with the leather strap that it comes with. So I feel like that adds an extra level of class. Like very easy to go like day and night and dress up and down, given you can use as a shoulder and also as a crossbody. That's not to say you can't do the same for the Pochette Metis. It's just that the East-West version has the added bonus that it's also cute and also functional in having all your essentials in the bag. Number 2 is styling. I would say that when you're styling this handbag and just wearing it, the East-West version looks a little bit better as a crossbody and a shoulder bag compared to the Metis itself. I find that the Metis is a little bit boxy, and especially for people who are a little bit more petite, it just doesn't look as great as a crossbody. I feel like the East-West version is a little bit more modern, more fresh, whereas in comparison, well, for me at least, I find that the classic Metis is a little bit bulky. Not as casual, but definitely a little bit more functional for the original Pochette Metis, which brings me to capacity. So you can see for the original Pochette Metis, the dimensions for the original Pochette Metis is 9.8 by 7.5 by 2.8 8 inches in size. Whereas if you look at the Pochette Metis in the East West version, its dimensions is 8.5 by 5.3 by 2.4 inches. So there is a significant size difference between the two different handbags. The East West handbag definitely is not something you can put a water bottle or umbrella in. Can probably fit an iPhone Pro Max in the main compartment, but definitely not something you can slip into the back pocket, which is kind of not as convenient given I find that I use my phone very often and it would have been nice if it fits nicely in the back. Whereas the original Pochette Metis, I find it's just a lot roomier and just like sizably like a lot more functional. You can put in a small umbrella, you can put in like your iPhone Max Pro for sure, and also like water bottles. I feel like this is a handbag you don't necessarily have to curate and decide what to bring and like kind of jigsaw your way through to kind of put everything you need in a given day. So I feel in this way it's a bit more carefree for the original Pochette Metis. Number 4, of course, is the pricing. The Pochette Metis in the canvas version is currently priced at $3,450. The reverse monogram version is also available for the same price for the Pochette Metis. Now, in terms of the leather version, it is available for $3,700 for the Pochette Metis. Whereas if you look at the Pochette Metis in the East West, this one is priced at $3,850 for the canvas version. So the price is actually higher compared to the Pochette Metis. And then if you look at the leather version for the Pochette Metis East West, it's priced at $4,200. I think at this rate, I'm a little surprised, even for the canvas version for the Pochette Metis East West, it's a little bit higher than I would expect for a typical canvas handbag. But I think the trend nowadays is that the smaller bags actually cost a little bit more compared to the larger size, like full size handbag. And that is something I think I just have to grow to accept. Next is the vibe. I find that the two handbags give like a very different vibe. I find that the vibe for the Pochette Metis East West a little bit more trendy. So if you're into the small bag trend right now, this is probably the handbag for you. Whereas I find that the Pochette Metis is a bit bulkier, but I wonder if this is going to be a little bit more timeless, more ageless. If you were to use this, let's say, a decade from now, it will be more of a classic. So I think it's like a different like vibe for sure. Not necessarily something you would use for like a fancy dressy occasion, but like it still works. It's just that it's not as cute, I would say, compared to the East West version. Difference number 6. I find that the Pochette Metis is also much more practical, just like a little bit more casual, even though it's like a very similar aesthetic. I find that the Pochette Metis is a little bit more easygoing for everyday use, more casual, whereas like that's not to say that the East West version is like not great for everyday use. I think it is. It's great for a minimalist who only carries the essentials. I think it looks really great and practical with the leather strap as opposed to the chain that it comes with. I just find that the original version is a little bit roomier and just a bit more practical for day-to-day use. At least you have the extra room if you need it. And then another major difference I find is just the proportion, because the S-lock is like front and center for both of these handbags, for both the Pochette Metis as well as the East West version. I must say, proportionally speaking, I find that it doesn't look as good on the East West version, maybe because like the S-lock is quite large and proportionally the bag is smaller, it's still the same design, but the lock is the same size. I find that the lock looking on the Pochette Metis originally looks really nice front and center, and it's just more well balanced aesthetically with the S-lock on the original Pochette Metis. So those are the 7 major differences for these two handbags. What do you think between the Pochette Metis, the original one, versus the Pochette Metis East West? Which one do you think is worth it more? Which one would you choose? Let's say if price was not an issue and you can add both handbags to your bag right now, which one would you choose between the Pochette Metis versus the Pochette Metis East West? Are you into the original or the new trendy version? I really like the regular Pochette Metis, but what's not to say you can love both. I think like both handbags give a very different look, and if you really love something, I don't think it will ever go out of date. I'm just contemplating, it would have been nice if Louis Vuitton came out with like a regular size Pochette Metis that is a little bit smaller than the regular version they have right now, but a little bit bigger than East West version. But likely they'll probably come out with two straps, like the chain and the strap again. With that said, I think with the stream bag, the price tag is probably going to be higher than what we're seeing right now, but probably close to $4,000. And I'm contemplating if this is the new price range that we're going to be seeing for a lot of the canvas bags from Louis Vuitton, that the normal price will be around $4,000. So that's it for today's mommy review, looking at Pochette Metis versus the Pochette Metis East West. I think both are like very strong contenders, and I would love to hear from you at this point. Which one would you choose? And join in the conversation in the comments below. Well, that's it for today. Hopefully I'll see you next time in another mommy review. Take care and stay safe, everyone. Bye for now.